Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden, and before we dive in, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video link on one of your favorite social media platforms. Okay, so I need to plant peppers and eggplants like crazy. I got a bunch. And we've got a few struggles. We've got aphids on a bunch of them. However, I've had these outside for a little while, and now the aphids are starting to get eaten up by other bugs and stuff from being outside, which is great. But we've definitely got like the green aphids everywhere, all over these. But I feel like I get these planted in the locations they're going to be in, allow these root systems to continue to develop stronger, bolder plants. That'll be easier for these plants to fight off the aphids, which is key. We need to do that. So we're going to get these in a couple of different locations. I'm also going to be planting some lantana in some different locations around these vegetables, just to draw more pollinators and such to those particular areas. This is all the lantana that I grew from cuttings last year, which was ended up being a massive struggle as they dealt with mealy bugs while they're inside. I do not think I'm going to try to save lantana again after dealing with that issue. But anyway, let me bring you in closer and show you what's going on with the aphids before we begin planting. Okay, so this is our aphid issue. You can see them, and they brush right off, like it's no big deal. I have seen a few ladybugs crawling around. Some of the plants that used to have a lot more aphids have a lot less aphids now, which I think is really great. It's definitely hot out right now, and everything's a little bit limp, but we're going to go ahead and plant anyway. These over here, this variety is Cubanelle peppers. They've struggled a little bit more with the aphids in different areas. You can see some. They just brush right off. But I feel like I really need to get them in the ground, in their containers, so that they can grow on, have strong roots, and really fight the aphids. So let's talk about where we're going to be placing them. So I've reserved one of my raised beds right here for a bunch of peppers. And last year I grew peppers in these white bins. They did not do as well in those white bins. They needed more space. However, the eggplants that I grew in containers did beautifully. So I think what I'm going to do is do a main focus of peppers right in this bed. And then over here in the white containers, I'm going to focus on eggplant in those locations. So let's do a little bit of maneuvering to get this area prepped and ready. Okay, this area has drip irrigation set up to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull all of the drip irrigation to start so that it's easier for me to access all these containers, because you can see we've got weeds, we've got old plants, we've got a lot going on. So let me go ahead and pull this up and out. And then we've got large plants in here. So these are old peppers. I'm going to go ahead and just shake out any weeds. I'm okay with the roots like being in there and continuing to rot. They don't go very deep actually. These had a mix last season, tomatoes. I'm not growing tomatoes this year, so they make me sad every year because they don't love my garden. But this had a mix of peppers and tomatoes. And this setup, I did not make this setup myself. I actually bought this from somebody on Facebook Marketplace who made this setup and then decided they didn't want to grow vegetables. So that worked out really well for me. Now you don't have to just grow vegetables in here. You can grow other stuff if you want. This just works well for me. Keeps the vegetables really up front so that I pay attention to them, because I'm not good at paying attention to them as they're growing. But then also, it allows me to give very specific nutrients and such to them without having them mixed throughout my garden. It's all one location for me, which works really well. Okay, we're going to start these containers by topping them with some compost. This is my favorite compost to use. It's called Vital Earth. Yeah, Vital Earth. I get it from Homegrown plants in Farmersville, Texas. We're going to start with a couple of big handfuls into each of these buckets. And I'm going to use my garden fork, just give a little bit of mix to this at the top. Now, all of these buckets have holes in the bottom of them, just so y'all know. Okay, let's plant these up. I think I'm going to do a couple of cayenne, these two front ones. So I'm going to do 3 cubanelle and 3 emerald, big emerald. Some of these are already starting to flower, which is crazy. And I grew all these from seed. I'll put the start date below. It was sometime in January, February. And they've already been potted up once. They have really great root structures in here. And obviously, you can tell I'm not using all the ones that I started, but I will give them to Kristen, my friends, Richard and Crystal, and another friend, Brenda, who I was just talking to. She would like some too, so it'd be nice to pass these around. All right, so cubanelle, 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 emerald, 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 cayenne, cayenne.
Cubanelle peppers are a sweet, mild pepper with thin walls and a slightly wrinkled appearance, maturing from light green to red. It grows 24 to 36 inches tall and thrives in full sun with well-draining soil. Typically harvested when light green, it's popular for frying, stuffing, and adding to salads. Emerald giant peppers are a large, blocky bell pepper with thick, crisp walls that mature from green to red. It reaches 24 to 30 inches tall and provides high yields in full sun with rich, well-draining soil. Known for its sweet flavor and resistance to diseases, making it a great choice for home gardens. The cayenne pepper plant produces long, slender peppers that mature from green to bright red with a spicy heat. It grows 18 to 24 inches tall and thrives in full sun with well-draining, nutrient-rich soil. With a heat level of 3,000 to 5,000 Scoville units, it's great for fresh use, drying, and making spice.
Okay, we have new neighbors, and their children love to play outside, which is great. You're gonna hear a lot more screaming and playing during my videos. Okay, next thing I want to do is start putting back all of the drip. And I just have basically a drip to go to the base of each plant. Now, of course, you can go in and hide these drip better if you want. I set this all up last year. It doesn't bother me, but I know some people don't like to see the drip at all. Like, I just want it to look like magic. No magic going on here, y'all, just a lot of hard work. So I'm okay with my drip line showing. Maybe someday I can be more particular about that. But at this point in time, I'm just excited that I have drip and that I won't forget to water these plants, which works well for me. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add mulch to the top of all of these to help with water retention and temperature control. Okay, I've got some cedar mulch. And I want to come through and we want to stay away from like the stem, like we want to give that space, but we just want to add mulch across the top here in order to help regulate these temps. Also, the cedar is great for dealing with insects. And I'm putting it in pretty thick, especially along the outskirts of the bucket. Okay, and then the last thing I want to do is put back in my trellis, because this is something I always wait too long on. And then the plants get too big and then it's like really hard. Now, a couple of these won't have their own trellis. However, these trellis are obviously very packed in, so I can secure them. I can secure them to the trellis next to it. I'm actually not going to worry about a trellis for the cayenne pepper. Cayennes aren't very big, and if I have to, I'll just take an old branch or a stick or something. Put it in there. Looks good. How do we get that done? Let's move to the raised bed. Okay, so this raised bed also has obviously drip irrigation to it. I'm gonna straighten these out a little bit with a couple of extra landscape pins, and dump the rest of this compost out. Now, I actually amended this one in the fall, so it's already got a good amount of compost coming to it. We'll just go ahead, just like that. And then I'm just gonna come in here and I'm just gonna use my fork to kind of aerate a little bit. Oh my gosh, all the worms coming up are ridiculous. Just dipping my fork in there and just pulling up a little bit at an angle. Also with this bed, because it didn't get as much compost, I'm going to go ahead and just do a light sprinkling of biotone throughout. Okay, so we have a couple of varieties. Where's my fork? Okay, we have a couple of different varieties of the eggplant out here. Can't remember this first one. I think it's the like Purple Beauty.
Black Beauty eggplant produces large, glossy, deep purple fruits with rich flavor and tender texture. The plant grows 24 to 30 inches tall and thrives in full sun with well-draining, nutrient-rich soil. It's a high-yielding variety that benefits from regular watering and staking for support. Harvest when the fruits are firm and shiny for the best taste. Pumpkin on a stick is an ornamental eggplant that produces small, ribbed, pumpkin-like fruits that turn bright orange as they mature. It grows 3 to 4 feet tall and thrives in full sun with well-draining soil. The unique fruits are often used in fall decorations and dried arrangements. Though technically edible, they are bitter and usually grown for ornamental purposes only.
Okay, I'm going to water these in with a water soluble fertilizer. This one right here is, hold on, is, let's see, Miracle-Gro. I've also used Proven Winners and Alaskan Fish Emulsion. I've already went through all the Proven Winners. This is the last one of the Miracle-Gro. I'm trying to use what I have, everything I have. I think there might be another Proven Winner somewhere. I need to find it. And then I'm going to switch to Alaskan Fish Emulsion, and I'll just put that in this container right here. Probably put about half a cup in because it's extremely concentrated, and then use that to continue feeding my plants. But this looks awesome. So, reminder, the pumpkin on a stick I'm growing for actual decor in the fall. But the Black Beauty I'm growing for food consumption for my family. Got 4 plants. I might put in another plant or 2 in a few places. We'll see. It is crazy humid. Thinking about letting it cool down, and I might come harvest some ranunculus tonight. Why don't we do that for the end of this video? We'll harvest a few ranunculus and put them into a sweet vase. Because my ranunculus, I give them about 2 weeks and they'll be done. Just because we're getting so hot so quickly. And I'm also going to make sure to water these over here. So last year, my eggplants got aphids really bad. And they ended up pulling, I need my headbands, my sweatbands already. It's March and I need my sweatbands already. They ended up pulling through fine. They dealt with the aphids and ended up moving past. And once I had them outside, they did a million times better because I think that all the insects that like to eat aphids were just coming around. And I basically just used a water hose to water off spray off the aphids whenever I could. But I hope that'll be the case for all of these this year. All these aphids started showing up when I used that Vigoro potting soil, so never again. Made me so sad, and I'm still dealing with them inside. I really just need to take a break. I need to finish up what seedlings I have now, move everything out, and then restart again. So looking good. Not the most attractive setup, but utility-wise, it works well. And then all the eggplant planted up in here. Now I will pop in a few zinnias in between those eggplant, probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I do need to slide on over here. That'll be an upcoming video. I need to slide on over here, trim up all of these Lysianthus. So they're looking really good. Almost all of them made it over the winter. And then I'll also tuck in some additional zinnias into there as well. And then I'm going to rest a little bit, let it cool down, and then this evening we'll come out and we'll harvest some of these gorgeous ranunculus. Got some ranunculus, I've got an iris blooming, I've got some hellebore. I think we have enough to make a small flower arrangement, which I think would be really fun. Okay, I totally forgot that I was going to add in some lantana on the edges here, so let me do that. So the lantana are just starting to get going, and Basically, I just want to tuck them into some areas where they'll spill over the side of the raised bed. This one right here I'm putting in is confetti lantana. And lantana's just now getting going in our area. So if you had it planted, you know, and you're waiting for it to come back, it doesn't consistently come back for me. The confetti definitely does not. But don't be afraid if your lantana hasn't started putting on growth yet. We still have time. And pollinators love lantana, so I think it'll be really nice to have it. Over here by all the vegetables. Oh no. All right. Well, we got baby rabbits over here. How many do we have over there? There's one. Are you a rabbit? I think you are. Are you gonna eat? I only see one. All right, well, we're gonna leave them covered up for right now. Super annoyed. I don't want baby rabbits. I'll give him a little time to grow up and then he's getting kicked out because I don't want him to eat all my stuff. I thought I had seen fur over here, so I already wrecked its nest a little bit. I'm going to take some time and walk around and see if I see any other nests, a bunch of grass and fur together. All right, and then I was in just such a hurry to get out of here. I totally forgot to mulch. I need to do that. And this will also help with water retention, soil temps. I have had, oops, I accidentally dug that guy up. I have had rabbits in the garden for years. And they haven't done tons of damage. There's always a first for everything. I guess I'd rather have a rabbit than an armadillo. Maybe. Okay, it's actually a couple of days later. And we've had a ton of rain. Oh, it's a big old hornet hanging out in there. So I'm going to go ahead and start by harvesting some iris. And these are Dutch iris. I'm gonna put them all, this is my new basket. So I need to figure out, I think I'll hold it like that, yeah. These are Dutch iris, they come back every year for me, which works great. And there's still several that are on their way up, which is exciting. All right, over here is my fall planted ranunculus. And I planted these, like I said, in the fall and overwintered them outside here. Just covered them up anytime we were going to be getting to freezing temps. And I'm just deadheading a few here so that they'll continue to bloom. All right, and these hellebore are about spent. I'll go ahead and harvest some. They're gonna have more of a green tone to them. And I think that'll be really pretty. pretty, huh? Okay, I like my new basket. Do I hold it this way? Just hold it like this. Okay, so I'm going to keep it simple. And we're just going to arrange directly into the vase. And I'm going to use my hellebore as kind of like my grid. So I'm kind of putting them in at angles all the way around. And their stems will crisscross inside and create a grid for the rest of the blooms. And I'm going to rotate this as I'm working with it. And this is just going to be a soft wildflower-esque design. It's so cool that it has so many ranunculus in it. Very exciting. Can't take too long because I gotta go pick up children. Oh my, how pretty is that? Okay, and then finally, we'll come through with some of the iris, Dutch iris. I'm just loosening it up. You can still go through, move some blooms around if you want. All right. It's awesome, you guys. I'm so excited. First harvest of the year. Totally love it. All right, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Just seeing me go through and get those veggies all planted. It's very exciting. Watching me harvest some blooms. Watching me discover baby rabbits. Good times. So I hope your spring is starting to ramp up in the garden. Those of you in my northern areas, I know y'all are very excited. You guys are less than a month out from your spring. Those of you in my areas, we are in full bloom. Let's go spring. As always, make sure you like and comment on the video. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow my video so much. And if you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, just drop me an emoji below, letting me know that you made it to the end of the video and you say hi. And be sure to check out my Patreon community. And it is all things things gardening, and she's a mad gardener. So if you want to come over and participate and support my journey as a gardener, feel free to do that. There is a free tier and there are paid level tiers. The higher up you are in the tiers, the more access you get, including exclusive videos, polls, chats, and the opportunity to share photos. As always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.